All right, so phase three, continuing. We did talk about yesterday how it's advancing a little bit into the next levels of the non-negotiables that I didn't really want to deal with. Those were coffee, alcohol, and cigarettes. A few short stories today, as I explain this part of the chapter. Um, yeah, these are quite interesting stories. Some of them may even evoke emotion and make you upset, and some make you laugh. I don't know. So last night I asked my housemates what brand of cigarettes they smoke, because they smoke and I don't, and I didn't really know what to choose. And I told them that I was going to start smoking, and they were both visibly upset. They were maybe a little bit emotional and angry at times as they were processing. They were asking me why, and it was a very good question. Why am I starting smoking at 35? And I just said I wanted to. I just wanted to be like everybody else. Wanted to be like them. And they didn't like it. They said it was the stupidest thing that I could ever do. They weren't interested in helping me or really talking about it in any great detail. And overall, it evoked quite a strong emotion. I didn't know they were going to react in this way. I thought, as smokers themselves, they may have encouraged or been excited to participate in helping me, but it was quite the opposite. The story continues when I go to the corner store, and I go to the where you buy alcohol from, and they sell cigarettes there. And first thing I did was I was trying to buy alcohol, and I said to the lady, I'm interested in buying something, and she could clearly see that I was not sure of what I wanted to buy, and therefore she was questioning whether or not I should be even buying this, and I ended up asking for just a 30 pack of beer. I didn't really have any particular brand in mind or anything like that. I just wanted to be able to consistently stick to what I'm about to do, which is based on what I've experienced with people. They drink at least twice a day, at least 2 coffees, at least 2 glasses of alcohol, and at least 2 cigarettes. So that's roughly the numbers I'm aiming for here. So I got a 30 pack of beer, and I started that last night, and I did both cans, and I get to recycle them now. Yay! As soon as I drank them, my nose started to run. My body was not happy about it. I thought that my gut would bloat. I've never had this beer before, so maybe it's the way it's brewed or the type of I don't know. Maybe it's just the state that my body's in. I didn't react, but I did not react in my gut, but I did react in my nose, and I woke up with a bit of phlegm and stuff like that. The lady that sold me the beer also was a bit cautious of me when I asked her what brand I should get. Is there any particular ones? She pretty much understood that I was a first-time buyer, and I said to her, I just would like a packet, and she pretty much refused me. She said this was a good choice, and she was quite encouraging me not to buy these packet of cigarettes. She didn't understand why would I start this late at life, and I said to her, "Is there a problem? Is there any legal requirement on her behalf to stop me from buying cigarettes? Because as far as I knew, I was old enough to smoke them. So Like, I don't know if you're supposed to present a medical certificate and show people that you're okay or you're well enough to smoke, but this is my first time, so I didn't know. Anyhow, after a little bit of background and telling her the reason why I was doing this, she eventually got to the point where she did sell it to me. She also said that if she was seen standing around that head office, would not encourage her to be talking to people and without making a sale, which I thought was a funny comment considering she was also encouraging me not to smoke. So anyhow, she sold me a pack, and it comes with a beautiful picture of a heart. This would be a human's heart, and it has a little bit of education about it regarding the damaged tissue of a clogged artery. I'm guessing this is somebody who didn't survive having a clogged artery. I don't know, I look at this image and I go, wow, cool anatomy. This is quite interesting, and it's educational, which is maybe not the reaction they were going for when they sell me this brandless packet. But I'm guessing this person didn't survive, but in my perception of life, I know that people survive heart attacks and have clogged arteries all the time, and they get them repaired and stinted, and people actually go on to have healthy, normal lives. So I'm not really sure what the message is there, but I do know that the message of asking people what they smoke and I want to start smoking does create an emotional reaction. I'm actually pretty scared about smoking this. I am fearful. I didn't smoke last night. Even though I bought the packets, I wanted to sit with it for a little bit longer. I'm not interested in smoking. I've never have been. I've had asthma my whole life. Or as a teenager, I certainly would react even just from doing physical activity. I'd be short of breath. Even in my sleep last night, thinking about having to smoke today, I think I got short of breath. I'm having a physical reaction to something that hasn't even occurred, which tells me a lot about my belief and my experience with this. But that's not the point. The point is to replicate what everybody else is doing, and to stop being a minority and start being like everybody else, so that I can too be part of the greater whole. So even though I am going to smoke in front of camera right now, I'm not encouraging other people to do it. This doesn't seem like the thing that a leader would do, which would be show people how to smoke or anything like that. But I don't know what true leadership looks like, because truth is, I've seen this in the hands of politicians, in the hands of policemen, in the hands of firefighters, doctors, nurses, lots of people who are leaders in our society, and yet they all smoke too. So I don't know. The example for me is that anybody that's cool and of high authority should smoke. That's my perception. I don't do it, but maybe I should. So here we go. I'm not really sure what you do. I've seen people do it, but okay. Just burn the end there. And it's lit. I put it in my mouth. I'm not really sure what brand I got. I got something to do with menthol. Apparently there's some type of like gadget or something in here that you squeeze and menthol is released. I'm not too sure how it works, but I'm going to continue to smoke this whole thing while I tell you a story. Oh. It's like putting fire in the back of my throat. This is so much fun. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. So I forfeited breakfast this morning and replicating what other people do. They have a smoke and cigarette a cigarette and coffee. Now, yesterday I was telling you that my family banned me from coffee because I turned into a different human. Here's to coffee and cigarettes for breakfast. Now, I don't have dairy. I haven't had dairy apart from like chocolate and I don't have milk. I specifically haven't had milk for a very long time, but in its pourable form. So it's in my coffee. I had to borrow some off the housemates. I put sugar in there as well. How does this work? How do you get through it quickly? Do you just like sit there and let it... I reckon I'd have one of those cool, like, croaky voices. I don't think Darren Lockie's voice was from smoking, not that I know him, but I think it's from injury. I feel like I'd have a Darren Lockie voice if I... I actually don't understand the point. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Anyhow, let me tell you some more stories about smoking, specifically. I was speaking to a mentor about this once upon a time, and he said, we were talking about beliefs, and we were sort of talking about who am I to say that smoking is not good for you. Alright, this is a weird thing to say, but this is the story that we were talking to each other about. And the story went like this. There was this child who had a granddad who lived till he was 100. Well, he was an old granddad, but he wasn't 100 at the time. Anyhow, this granddad said to his grandson that smoking is healthy for you. In fact, it's the magic pill that keeps you alive. It fights sickness, it fights illness, and it keeps you happy, right? No smoke came out. Where's the smoke? Anyhow, bad. Oh, I can taste that menthol. That doesn't taste very nice. So this granddad's told his grandson that smoking is good for him, and the grandson has the belief that if he's going to be as cool and as awesome as his granddad, he needs to smoke too. The granddad has no problem with it. He's been smoking since he was a kid, and he was healthy and fit, and every time he went to the doctors he was told he was okay. So the son watches the granddad get old, and he lives to 100. But his grandma, who doesn't like smoking, who doesn't enjoy smoking, who has a very strong belief against it, that the granddad shouldn't be smoking, in fact is angered and emotional and upset, but even just by the thought of smoking, that it actually caused her quite a lot of anguish. And anyhow, the grandson watches the granddad live to 100, but watches his grandma die a lot earlier than 100. On some level, there is a belief there that the grandson has that smoking is good for you, and it was given to him by an authority, somebody he cares about. And the proof is that, he lived longer than his grandma, someone who didn't smoke. So it's very hard for that grandson to break any belief about smoking. Smoking, in his mind, is good for him, is medicine, will help him live longer. So, oh, that's better. The smoke came out this time. The good thing is, well, what is the good thing? Let's go back to the story. My mentor said to me, who am I to question somebody's belief? And who am I to tell them they're right or they're wrong? This is an introduction into the dichotomy of life. And the dichotomy of life says that we're either on one or the other side. We're either in this side or that side. We're either in the good or the bad. the right or the wrong. A dichotomy is two mutually exclusive parts that together make a whole. So a good example of this would be black and white, or right and wrong, up and down, left and right. Two mutually exclusive things that come together to make a whole. So if you're on the side of hey, you shouldn't be smoking, it's bad for you, it's bad for your health, it's not a good thing, and that's your belief, that's one side of your perception. The other side is you should smoke, and it's good for you, and it helps you deal with life, and it helps you get through life. What do I do now? Is that done? Is that finished? Luckily I've got my trusty beer can to like pop it out. Don't want to start a fire or anything, that'd be bad. I guess I'll just wash it down with some coffee. Which does taste better than the cigarette. I think mostly because I put so much sugar in it though. Alright, so the perspective is like, which side are you on? Now, what my mentor was trying to show me is that if you transcend and you are... Now let's back up from transcendence. If you believe you have a perception that you shouldn't smoke, that's just one side of the perspective, right? And in between is an emotional wall. On the other side of the wall is the appreciation that there's actually another perspective. If you're unable to like appreciate the other side, if you're unable to see the other side, if you're emotional, if you're getting upset, if you're getting angry, like perhaps you're on one side of the perspective. When my mentor talks about transcendence, he's like talking about looking at both perspectives from an above point of view, from like 30,000 feet, and looking down, and he highlights that as this transcendence. He's saying that like you now recognize that there is no right or wrong, and that's an interesting like statement, right? Yesterday I asked people who smoke what brand should I choose to smoke, and they got upset and they got angry, and I was very confused. The world around me smokes, and when I ask to join in, I get told no, and yet they do it themselves. I don't understand this. I don't get it. If they are saying that this is stupid, it's bad for my health, it's not good for me, then why do they do it? Why is it okay for them to participate, and for me to be left out and not participate? The interesting thing about what I just presented to you is a perception about your life and your beliefs, and everything that I'm doing with my challenge is to challenge my own beliefs. I've been given beliefs from my family, from TV, radio, newspaper, from doctors, from people who have high authority, and they've told me that this is the perception I need to have. This is the belief I need to have. And all of a sudden I'm challenging my belief, and it's evoking emotion. I'm trying to understand the world better. I'm trying to understand myself better. And hopefully the story I shared with you helps you understand yourself better. Or at least encourages you to challenge your beliefs and your perceptions. If you're someone who smokes, ask yourself why. Who taught you that? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it neither? If you're really struggling with what we call as addiction, and struggling to break that addiction, where is the emotion that creates that feeling that you need to medicate yourself with this stuff to feel better? That's my question to you. I didn't have a feeling like I needed to medicate myself. In fact, I'm so scared of smoking this stuff that I really want to be away from it. However, I've done it now. I don't feel like it hurt me. I logically in my heart feel like long term, if I continued, it will have an impact. But let's just see what the next 30 days bring. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll make me better. Maybe it'll make me live to 100. So, just want to know your thoughts. Tell me about it. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Day 2, day 3. Holy.